Hey guys, Eli here. In this video, I'm going to cover which store should I create and why. We're going to take a look at the pros and cons of general, niche, and one product stores. Now, in this training, what we're going to cover is the pros and cons of a general store, the pros and cons of a niche store, the pros and cons of a one product store, and which store I recommend that you should build and why. A general store, the pros and cons. So the pros of a general store is that you only have to build it once, okay? So you build it once and then you can literally sell anything and everything, okay? So you can sell dog products, cat products, beauty, health, literally anything. You can sell trinkets, it does not matter. Think about Wish, think about Walmart, okay? You are not limited. Your store is extremely flexible. You can sell anything to anyone at any time. Now the cons of a general store. There's no passion, there's no feel, and there's no community around this, okay? So there's no chance of building up a tribe of people who are passionate and really strongly invested in a particular interest. So there's none of that with a general store. Another thing with the general store, another con, is that you need to segment your email list so customers don't get confused. So you can still build up an email list, a healthy email list that you can then remarket products to, but your email segmentation has to be super on point, okay? The last thing you want to do is blast everybody with an email about a dog product when you know quite well that you have a lot of cat owners on your email list, okay? And vice versa. You don't want to send a cat product and just blast your entire list with a cat product when you have people on there who have dogs and horses and birds, okay? So you need to make sure your segmentation is super accurate, super on point if you're going to do a general store. Now, they also tend to have less authority, and as a result of that authority, less conversion rates, okay? Because you're a master of everything, you're pretty much at the same time a master of nothing, okay? I think there's a saying about that. So if you have such a broad store, people aren't going to take you as seriously if you had a store just based on one specific thing, okay? So if you were just a master of that specific thing, and because you're not, because you're more general, more broad, it tends to have a less conversion, and also they're more price competitive because people are like, well, how are you any different to Amazon? Maybe I'll go check Amazon and see if they sell it as well. And if they do that, Amazon's probably going to sell it less than you're selling it. You're going to lose a customer. There's also less chance to build a brand on a general store. Think of Apple. Think of your phones, Samsung. There's less chance to build a brand around a general store because you just sell so many different things. Okay, it's hard to build a brand around something that's massive. But if you're selling something really specific or in a specific category, then it's a lot easier to build a brand and position yourself as an expert of one thing, okay? Because you're not really an expert of anything in a general store. You're not building up this really targeted, passionate niche, and you're also not positioning yourself as that authority figure in that space. There's less potential revenue if you choose to exit, okay? So if you try and sell your store at some point, because your data is all over the place, you have data in like hundreds of different niches, okay? There's less potential. So when people buy, what they really buy is the data, and there's less potential for high revenue when you're selling because you just have a lot of mixed data. Let's talk about niche store now. So pros of a niche store. A niche is pretty much the polar opposite of a general store. You're focused on one interest. So think about a dog store, think about something like BarkBox, okay? They're planting their flag. They're an expert in that dog space. They're an authority in that dog space. As a niche store, you're also able to develop a passionate audience. So we'll stick with the theme of dogs and dog lovers. If you're running a dog store, you're able to build up a huge following, a huge tribe of people who are passionate about that thing, which in this case, for this example, is dogs, okay? So you're able to build up a massive following, a massive email list of dog lovers. You also tend to have more authority and credibility over a general store because you're planting your flag in the ground as an expert in that space. For example, dog owners would rather buy from a dog specific store than from a general store that sells everything. They feel more confidence, more trust. They feel like they're more qualified to serve them. So they'd rather shop there than at a big store like a Walmart. Due to this increased authority, a niche store tends to have better conversion rates. Not always, But as a rule of thumb, niche stores, because they have that authority, they're planting their flag as an expert, they do tend to have a higher conversion rate. You can also focus, like I mentioned earlier, on growing a big email list that you can then remarket products to, okay? So if you have a big email list, say 10,000 people who you know are dog lovers, well, you can just send one email. You don't have to worry about segmenting your list. You can just send one email to your entire list, and boom, you know it's a highly targeted, highly qualified list. You can just send a dog product to sell, and you'll get sales. As a result of being that authority, that expert in that space, you can also provide higher price points for your products, okay? So your products can sell at an increased price point because they're going to have a higher perceived value. You're also able to create a longer term brand. So like I said before, think about BarkBox, okay? They're in the dog space, they're a brand. So if you're a dog lover, you've more than likely heard of BarkBox. Right? Just think about that when you're thinking about what store to build, okay? There's also more potential when you're exiting or when you're selling your store, because you have that highly targeted list of people that's really attractive to other brands who might want to, like I said, take that data, take that email list. So they're not buying your store, they're buying your data, okay? So if you have a list of 10, 20,000 dog lovers, someone like BarkBox might come along and say, hey, we'll buy your store. We don't really care about your store. We care about your email list, okay? So they might acquire you, acquiring your email list. So there's that potential for higher revenue when you exit. Now, some cons of a niche store. You're unable to test in other niches. If you want to test products, you'll have to create another store. So you don't have that flexibility. You're not able to test any product to any market at any time. You're very much in your lane and you have to kind of stay there unless you create another store. Alternatively, if you do try and sell products in different niches on your niche store, so say you have a dog store and you try and sell a cat product, you will get sales, okay? But you're also going to confuse your entire list. It just gets messy, okay? It can be done, but I recommend if you're in a niche store, you just start either another niche store or a general store, but you don't try and sell different niches in that niche store. If you do try and sell different niches inside of your niche store, you need to really focus heavily on segmentation, okay? But if you're selling different products to different niches inside of your niche store, you're really defeating the entire purpose of having a niche store in the first place, okay? So keep that in mind. Let's talk about one product stores, the pros and cons. So the pros of a one product store is they have a high authority because they're positioned more than not as the creator of a product. So think about BlendJet. BlendJet is a one product store. Now they sell blenders, right? But they position themselves to be the creator of this blender, okay? So that increases the perceived value, and that also allows them to increase the price which they sell that blender for. Also, one product stores, a big pro is that it's less complicated. You're only selling one product to one market at one time, okay? So it's super streamlined. It's very simple. You're not worrying about having 200 products on your store. You're just focusing and putting all of your efforts into one product. The downside of putting all of your efforts into one product, you're also putting all of your eggs into one basket, okay? So with a one product store, the time investment is a huge con, okay? So the time investment, you've put all your eggs into one basket, you're putting all of your money on black, you're backing this product to do well, okay? So you've created an entire store, you've created all of the systems behind this one product, and if it doesn't work, you have to start again from scratch. There's also zero ability to remarket to this email list that you're going to build up. So you're going to build up a big email list selling this one product, but by nature of having a one product store, you're not able to sell them any more products because you don't have any, okay? So a lot of people with one product stores, they'll just set up an abandoned cart sequence. They won't worry too much about email marketing outside of their abandoned cart sequence, okay? Because what are you going to say to your customer if they don't want to buy your product? They don't want to buy your product, okay? There's only so many times you can message them about, hey, come buy my product. You only have one product to sell. If they don't want it, then you're out of luck, okay? As a result of that, this store kind of typically has a shorter lifespan as well. So you kind of put all of your eggs into one basket, you put all your money on black, you're betting on this store to do well, this product to do well. Say it does well, it scales really high, you make a lot of money, and then eventually it will die out, and you have to start all over again. Okay, so that's the nature of what I mean by a churn and burn, and the nature of one product store. So you start it, you launch this product, you scale it up really big, and then you rip it all down. You make a bit of money, but it's kind of a flash in the pan. Okay, so that's kind of what a one product store is. Now, which store do I recommend? Now, if you're starting out, I recommend starting with a general store. This way you only have to build your store once. Okay, so when you're starting out, there's a massive learning curve that goes on. There's so much to learn when you're starting out. So I recommend keeping it simple. Only build your store once. Okay, put all your time in, build it once. The last thing you want to do is start out, build a one product store, take ages building your store because you're learning. The product is no good because you're still working out how to find winning products and find and test products, and then you have to start all over again. So I recommend just starting out with a general store, and that way you just have to build it once. You can test a lot of different products across a lot of different niches, super flexible about what you can test. Now, if you have more experience, I then recommend starting a niche store as it has more long-term potential. Okay, so if you have more experience, you've been in the game for a little while, you understand how it works, you've made sales, you've made quite a few sales, you've made some money with this, you have that experience, I recommend looking at starting a niche store. Okay, focus in on something that has more long-term potential, you have a better exit, you're able to, the money is in the list at the end of the day. With Facebook ad costs rising, your email list is going to be super valuable. Making sure you're nurturing your list, you're building up your brand, you're creating that strong community, that passionate audience around your product, around your niche, that is kind of the road you want to travel when you have more experience. Now, I have personally used one product stores myself in the past. I have actually used all of these. One product stores, like I said, they're kind of like a quick cash grab, okay? That's pretty much all they're good for. You find a product, you scale it up, and then it dies off, and then you're out. And you look for another product, okay? So it's a flash in the pan kind of store, the churn and burn, and they have zero long-term potential, these stores, okay? So I recommend moving to a niche store and looking more at a niche store. Even if your niche store, a lot of the niche, if I have a niche store, I personally have a niche store right now, and it only has a couple of products in it, okay? So you just start off a niche store that only has maybe 2 or 3 products, but you have that potential to expand, okay? With a one product store, if you name your product like Apple, right, and the phone or whatever your one product is, it doesn't work, well, then you're out of luck, and you've just wasted all that time, okay? But with a niche store, you have multiple products, you can sell, you can use your email list. It's much, much better. It has much more long-term potential. With, like I said, with Facebook ad costs increasing, you need to start focusing on increasing your lifetime value, trying to get people to come back to your store through email marketing, okay? That is going to be key. Email marketing needs to be a big focus. So that's why if you have experience, I recommend niche stores. If you're starting out, general stores, would avoid one product stores. At the end of the day, each of these 3 models will work, okay? Each of them will work. The key is to pick one, learn it, and then commit to it 100%. The biggest thing I see with people when they're starting out, and I know for a fact this happens because it happened to me, that you just switch, okay? You're like, oh, I start a general store. No, I've heard one product stores, they're the new thing. Oh no, I want to build an email list, so I'll go build a niche store, and then I'll go back to a general store because my niche store, I picked the wrong niche, and then I'll move back to a one product store because I've heard it's hot again. It's just a mess, okay? So pick one. At the end of the day, you'll have success with whatever one you pick and are consistent with, and put in the work, okay? That is the key. Be consistent. Pick one, put in the work, learn it, master it, and commit to it 100%, okay? They'll all work, just pick one, okay? Don't be bouncing around. That will not get success, okay? Pick one, stick to it. That's all I want to say on that. Now, if you got any value from this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. That honestly means the world to me. Come join the E-commerce Revolution Facebook group. I'm in there. I've got hundreds of other people in there as well. We're all trying to get better at e-commerce. We're all looking to launch and scale our e-commerce stores. And also I encourage you to check out Product Research Secrets. It's a free video series that I created. It teaches you all of the sneakiest methods to go out there and find battle-tested, proven products to sell using free research methods. So go check that out as well. That's in the description below this video. And that's it from me, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.